It's indeed an honor to me to introduce Dr. Suryakant V. Gangishetty, sir. Good afternoon once again, sir. Dr. Suryakant V. Gangishetty is a faculty member at IIIT Hyderabad since August 2006. He has completed PhD in neural network models for recognition of consonant vowel units of speech in multiple languages from IIT Madras in 2005. Before joining to IIT Hyderabad, he has worked as a senior project officer at Speech and Vision Laboratory, IIT Madras. He has worked as a faculty member at BIT Davangere, Karnataka from 1991 to 1999. He has also worked as a visiting research scholar at OGI Portland, USA for 3 months during the summer of 2001. He has done his postdoctoral studies at Carnegie Mellon University, Pittsburgh, USA during April 2007 to July 2008. He is author of about 150 papers published in national as well as international journals, conferences, and edited volumes. He is a life member of CSI, IE, IU, PRAI, ASI, IETE, ORSI, and ISTE. He has reviewed papers for reputed journals and conferences. His research interests include speech processing, neural networks, machine learning, natural language processing, artificial intelligence. He was local organizing chair for the InterSpeech 2018 conference, which has happened in India in September 2018, held at Hyderabad. So on behalf of our institute, I once again welcome you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, madam, for kind, what you call elaborated resume you spoke, and thank you, Mallikarjun sir, for giving me an opportunity to share some of my research these things, and definitely I will be sharing my what you call sweet memories what I had in BDT college. I did my BTech from government, that BDT college from 1986 to 1990. How now I will start presentation, sharing the screen somewhere present now. Yeah, your entire screen. Yes, screen one, share. Yes. Able to see?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir. Your slide is visible.
Okay, good. Good. How many participants are there?
Sir, now they have joined 64, sir. Still yet to join, sir.
Okay, no problem. Total about it could be 100 or something, I believe, right? More than that.
Yes, more than that. So 140.
And their backgrounds: electronics, instrumentation, computer science, electrical, biomedical, and so on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So good. As this, I think it's a faculty development program titled Artificial Intelligence and Machine Language stands in biomedical engineering, biomedical signal processing. I thought I can share some of the what you call pros and cons, that is the advantages and limitations of using AI and ML for various tasks. And as already madam told, I did my BE from your college, government BDT college. Then MTech I did from NIT Surathkal. PhD I did from IIT Madras. Frankly speaking, I entered into this AI, machine learning, and whatever I have done my research by coincidence. Actually, I am from computer science background. I wanted to do something related to parallel processing, and somehow I entered into this what you call a neural network, all those things, because human brain also does some parallel processing of again. Later, I did my postdoc from Carnegie Mellon University. And just I kept, these are my advisors, and here my advisor. Now, irrespective of like whatever we can say branch discipline, forget about like engineering, which kind of engineering, even non-engineering science. Everybody nowadays, this is what you call artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics. These are all became, you can say, very common words, and people feel these are all like nowadays direction is moving, or any research or something is moving in this direction of a kind. When I went for doing my postdoc at Carnegie Mellon University under the guidance of Professor Raj Reddy, and his advisor is John McCarthy, and he is called father of artificial intelligence. In 1956, this Professor John McCarthy and three more researchers, one is what you call Alan Noah and Herb Simon from Carnegie Mellon University, and one more faculty from what you call MIT. They had one summer school, just like our faculty development program. They had one summer school. There, all these 4 or 5 key people, they were discussing some project, something related to what you call, can we make computer to behave like human beings? Later, it became artificial intelligence. Okay, they were telling in 10 weeks, that is summer, that summer school was for 10 weeks. They were telling in 10 weeks, we should be able to achieve the goal of making machine to behave like human beings in many of the aspects. Many of the aspects, they took the kind of aspect or task is something called games. In terms of games, for example, there are chess players, 2 players. One is human being and another one is computer. Can computer defeat the human beings in terms of playing a chess? Why they were interested in chess is that in general, if someone is good at games playing, then he is considered to be an intelligent person. Therefore, if we make computer to behave like human beings in terms of games, then computer will become intelligent of a kind. In that direction, they started something, coining the word called artificial intelligence. They thought something can be done in 10 weeks. Of course, till today, we have not achieved their aim, what they intended to do in 10 weeks, because initially they were having very high hopes of that something can be done. But later, we know very well that there are a lot of limitations. And it is predicted that in another 140 years, by that time none of us will be there, that is predicted that no human beings will be there on this earth, only artificial human beings, like robots. Robots will take care, will take up all the things. Because see, robot can do everything, means why human beings are required of a kind. I don't know whether it will happen or not. Mostly it will not happen, because in order to like fix one, some limitation of something, another things will come. But anyway, when you see artificial intelligence syllabus, you might have seen, does not matter. Usually what is taught is the philosophy of artificial intelligence, 1950s, what for those things are used of a kind. Basically, those things use artificial intelligence meant for search techniques. Meaning of search is that, see, in the human brain, no computation takes place. Everything will be search. When you have the knowledge, in order to retrieve that knowledge back, or in order to remember something, you are not going to compute anything. You are just searching. For example, you have names of hundreds of your students, or somebody's names, or city names. In some context, you will recall the name by seeing the name of a person, by seeing the face of the person. You will not apply any binary search techniques or some other techniques to find the name in the brain of a person. Therefore, when knowledge is there in human being, in the human brain, how things is then retrieved is just search. Therefore, problems are solved by using search techniques. Solutions are there, but which solution, where is the solution? from the initial state to the final state, all those things. That's why people teach such techniques. Then later on, constraint satisfaction. That is, and coming to the game playing, there are like expectation maximum, min max, and like how things are done, automatically planning how it is done. Then thing is how human brain, what is the mechanism? Human brain, in the human brain, what are the formulas? What is the way? What is the mechanism of representing the knowledge? So many of us, irrespective of the branch, we studied something called Boolean algebra, Boolean logic, all this and are not gate, all those Kirchhoff, and like Karna's-Maff was to simplify the circuits or optimize the circuits. We use something called Boolean logic, predicate logic, all those things are used in technically. And human brain, how knowledge is represented, what is the mathematical representation, equivalent mathematical representation of a knowledge, how it is done in the human brain, can we come up with some representation, that's called knowledge representation. And reasoning through logic, there are different kinds of logics are there. There is something called propositional logic, predicate logic, then fuzzy logic, and probabilistic representation where uncertainty is there. Then in order to take the decisions, in order to like come up with some result where some information is partially available, then people use something called Markov decision process. And all these things roughly comes under artificial intelligence. People say, can somebody teaches or learns or become mastery of these chapters? Can you do whatever you want? Can you make machines to behave like human beings? And definitely no. But these are all say initial steps people followed. Then comes something called machine learning. What is this machine learning? Making machine to learn. In case of normal, say, computer learning, what happens is we have program, we have input, if those are given, we are finding the output. Whereas in machine learning, we have input, we have output. Program, computer should find the program or algorithm or mechanism. What is the program or algorithm can give for this input? This as the output. That is the difference between computer learning and machine learning. Then something called neural network, the one way of like making machine to learn of a kind. Then we have something reinforcement learning, and all this comes under the umbrella called soft computing. And machine learning, artificial intelligence, these are all like frankly speaking, now they are not, earlier once upon a time they were started for chess playing, then there are some other games like tic-tac-toe is there, and water jet problem is there, those things. But now these approaches are used for solving some other sophisticated problems which are assumed to be complicated. Say for example, in case of image processing, either computer vision or medical image processing, they are the tough task. They are the tough task in such cases. Like even if some success, for example, at present somebody has achieved 90%, for example, achieving 91%, from 90 to 91 is a big jump. Going up to 90 is not a big deal. For example, we normally score for 60%, 70% in our examination with minimum effort. So with little bit more effort, 80%. Assume that somebody is scored 85%. He has put a lot of effort. There is somebody is 85% and 86%. Though difference is only 1%, but one has to, for every even 1% after some level, it became difficult. There are certain difficult problems, for example, in medical image processing, or in case of computer vision, or in case of robotics, in case of natural language processing. All these machine learning and artificial intelligence techniques are useful, and I am sure you know that this is the famous book, A Modern Approach called Stuart Russell and Peter Narvik for artificial intelligence. Once upon a time, Ellen Rich, Knight and Rich was the famous book. And this John McCarthy started this direction of this area. That's why he is called father of artificial intelligence. And initially he was in MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Because of some reason he left MIT and joined to Stanford. I don't know what is the rank of MIT, but that time MIT is considered to be topmost university in the world, and Stanford were not that much compared to MIT. But reasonably this thing to have some to take that academic revenge on MIT. This professor started his own branch. This is artificial intelligence, and first PhD from Stanford, from computer science department is given to the Indian, the Professor Raju. And in case of engineering, there is no Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is there for science, medicine, physics, chemistry, biology, law. There is no Nobel Prize for engineering. But somebody does a fantastic work in case of engineering direction. Then to honor them, there is an equivalent prize called Turing Award. He got Turing Award in 1974, and he got Turing Award in 1994. And he assigned his first student a task, something natural language processing. It is nothing but recognition of human speech. With high hopes they started, for one can recognize continuously when somebody speaks, but finally ended with recognizing just 5 hours. There are 48 sound units. Out of that, they are able to just come up to recognize 5 vowels. That itself led them to start something. And nowadays, this AI and ML techniques are very much useful in natural language processing. I will come to that point later. But this is the story of artificial intelligence and coming to machine learning. This is another this one. What is done in machine learning is that we have something called supervised learning, graphical models, unsupervised learning, we have reinforcement learning, and application of these algorithms to solve vision problem, web search, Google search. For example, in case of your Google Gmail, inside there is a small intelligent program based upon this machine learning. When some email comes to you, it will automatically identify whether it is a normal email or it is a spam email. Like that, these AI and ML techniques are becoming useful in various applications. In case of, for example, supervised learning, yeah, you are able to hear, right? Yes, all of you are able to hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No problem.
Yes.
Yeah, I am presenting full screen, not stop sharing. Okay, I will get back to full screen. Yeah. F5. Yeah. Supervised learning for for known for given input, this is the output of a CAD. There will encounter something called logistic regression. Logistic regression is actually classification. Linear regression is extrapolation or prediction. We have neural network, decision trees, good old methods, nearest neighbor method, support vector machines, and naive Bayes, then maximum posterior estimation. And the optimal classifier is the Bayes optimal classifier. Then graphical models are there, something called generative and discriminative, hidden Markov models, and so on. Unsupervised, where there is no given output, it is not automatically, it has to figure out how many different categories are there, clusters are there. Automatically, it has to categorize among themselves for a second. Reinforcement learning, I will come to that later. It is a learning from critique. And nowadays that is also picking up a very good direction, and application of these things are useful in some of the complicated tasks. Most of these success in this recent trends in machine learning AI, they came from computer vision, because in the computer vision and image processing, it is very difficult to deal with the problems. Therefore, some success is achieved. Therefore, those directions or methods are borrowed to some other similar areas of AI. Now, as I say, he is the father of AI, and he is the first student. Therefore, he is son of this fellow African. Now, coming to machine learning, you must have heard the name person called Godfather of deep learning. It's called Geoffrey Hinton. Recently, 3 people got got a Turing Award because of this Geoffrey Hinton. This machine learning has reached today to enormous success. Just like he left MIT and joined Stanford, and he left Stanford and joined to CMU. He left various places like Edinburgh, then CMU, then Southern California. He's settled in Canada. Okay, good. And he is the great grandson of. We all have heard something called Boolean algebra. You know that Boolean algebra. ARB, 0 or 1 is 1, 1 or 0 is 1, 1 or 1, 0 or 0 is 0. At Boolean algebra is great grandson of George Boole, Geoffrey Hinton. Because of him, the godfather of this machine learning or deep learning, so many inventions. For your information, is not from engineering. He's a psychologist. He knows very well how human brain works, how human mind works in various situations. Therefore, all these neural network machine learning, we wanted to simulate the human brain. Therefore, he's very good at this. He's a non-engineer, psychologist. Studied in University of Edinburgh long back. University of Edinburgh is one of the oldest and biggest university in the world. Bayes theorem, that Bayes is from University of Edinburgh, and I am sure some of you have studied electromagnetic wave theory. Electromagnetic wave theory, there is 4 equations are there. That's called Maxwell equations. Maxwell is from University of Edinburgh, and I think father of evolutionary, I think is what is his name? In biology it will come. Charles Darwin is from University of Edinburgh. He is also from Edinburgh. Good. With all the things with background story I told, whether it is required or not, what is required in artificial intelligence? What is this? With the help of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we are doing so many things. But it started 70 years back, what you call, what are we making? Why are we studying this artificial intelligence? Is making the machine. Machine means computer. Computer is an electronic device. Electronics is the instrumentation and this one. Therefore, you can say machine means anything related to electrical, electronics, computer science, IT, all those things. Making machine to make intelligent, that is, machine should behave like human beings. Therefore, can computer be intelligent? Can we make the computer to be intelligent by using those AI ML techniques, or we are wasting the time? That question arises. That question comes sometimes. So is it solvable or doable or not affected? Then you want to make computer to be intelligent by using some techniques, machine learning, artificially. Therefore, it is artificial intelligence. Then one should define first intelligence. Then we can say, oh, with the help of these algorithms, we can make computer to be intelligent. Can be computer intelligent? What is meant by intelligence? Some definition could be one of the Oxford Dictionary or Webster Dictionary, or you can say some other dictionary. It says the following: Intelligence is something which is creativity, skill, consciousness, emotion, and intuition. Because see, humans acquire skill over a period of time. Humans are creative. Same thing they will do in a different way. Because we are all like will get bored. Any natural biological system get bored if the repetitions are done. If you want to do something, you will be doing that first time. You want to do same thing next time, you will do it in a different way because already you have acquired the knowledge.
सर क्लास में सर
क्लास है बोलो 4:30 बजे फ्री हो ना
4 o'clock
4:30
4
4:30 हाँ and if we would do the things in a different way because we have acquired the knowledge, we are creative and skills are acquired and we are very consciousness about many things. Further, we have different emotion. We depict different emotion, different appearance at different instant of time. When we are happy, our emotion will be different. When we are sad, when we are angry, that emotion automatically comes and naturally it comes. The way somebody speaks, from that you can make out what is the state of mind. Is he normal, angry, upset, or too happy, and so. A number of times you take the decision based upon intuition. And in mid 1900, used to call, there is a person, Alan Turing, he used to think like this: machines could be created that would mimic process of the human brain. And please note, Alan Turing is called father of modern computers. And in his honor, what you call, we have prizes are there equivalent to Nobel Prize called Turing Award. He used to say like this: computer could be created that would mimic the process of human brain. And he used to say one more thing. Let us say at one side, I have a powerful computer, very powerful. Powerful means, let us say our laptops have 32 GB RAM. Let us say a powerful computer is having 1000 GB RAM. We have say 1 terabyte. Another powerful computer has 10 terabytes. Our computer execute million instruction per second. Let us say that computer executes billion, trillion instructions per second. Assume that I have a powerful computer at the right side. I have a very complicated problem at the left side. Complicated means not personal problem, it is the technical problem. Let us say I have a very, very, very complicated problem to be solved at one side, and I have a very, very powerful computer at the other side. And if that powerful computer cannot solve this complicated problem, then no human being can solve the problem. He used to say, if there is a problem, a complicated problem, not so easy, non-trivial. Non-trivial means not finding roots of the quadratic equation, or finding matrix inversion, or like Fahrenheit to centigrade conversion, or finding biggest of n number, or sorting. These are all called a normal problem. So somewhat complicated problems. Complicated problem means that by seeing the face, they should say he is in a normal mood, or just by seeing my eyes and ears, they should say what is there running in his mind of a kind. Complicated. If the powerful computer cannot solve these kind of complicated problems, then no human beings can solve that problem. He overestimated the computer, and he is called father of modern computers. He used to say that. But even after 70 years, after 70 years, statements are still visionary. Some of you are able to see the screen. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How many of you know my name? If you know my name, you have seen the screen earlier. I used to show this everywhere, wherever I go. At least I think few of you have attended my previous talk somewhere here and there. Definitely.
Yes,
Farida is
sir.
there?
Yes, sir.
Farida
Yes,
is
sir.
there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Farida
sir.
madam, you are there. Then who is speaking, sir?
I'm Sir Padma Shri from
Uh,
GSSS, sir.
okay, you have seen this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are not supposed to answer.
Okay,
Then
sir.
those who have not seen this, at least can you see? Can you say what is there on the screen? Somebody. Can any of you say what is this?
It is a Dana scam, sir. Lalu
Oh.
Prasad Yadav.
You are from where? Which place, sir?
Hyderabad.
Which college? Which college in Hyderabad?
Spurti Engineering College, sir.
Okay. Have you seen this earlier or first time you are seeing?
I think based on that image, I guessed it due to that images.
Oh, good. You are right. This is a fodder scam, right?
Yes, sir. Food scam.
Yes.
Dana
Food-
scam. Dana scam.
Okay. See, your name?
Venkata Prasad, GV Prasad.
Okay. See, GV Prasad sir said correct answer. What happens is maybe Karnataka people might be thinking, is it Devegowda sitting on the cow and backside Devegowda wife? Like that, but you did not thought in that way. You thought correctly, because see, this is a very good cartoon. It came when Lalu Prasad was the chief minister of Bihar. What has happened is, when during Lalu Prasad chief ministership, they sanctioned lot of what you call money or budget. That budget is for supplying what you call grass or food to the cows, almost free of cost. But in the process, what happened is, the purpose has not served. Lalu Prasad itself minted that money, or somehow he made it to like maximum share to him himself, and no grass has been provided to the cows of that Bihar. Then it became a big scam called fodder scam. The essence of that is that Lalu Prasad, in the Lalu Prasad hand, he has grass, but is not giving to the cow. He is holding away from that. It is not reaching to the cow, and it happened in Bihar. That became a fodder scam, and that is appearing in this. How you said it is a food scam, sir? What made you to think in that way?
He's showing some grass and
Yes.
he's showing some grass bundle.
But I interpret in a different way. It is the following.
Okay.
Say one thing might be you thought it is Lalu Prasad because it is Bihar is there, but it is where is
No, I didn't see that one, sir.
Huh?
I saw that Lalu Prasad and grass. It is well-known case in the world, in this country, that grass scam.
I think you can write some 2-page essay on this, right? Well, just on this slide itself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, the thing is the following. He is able to extrapolate many things. And then he said about BR is there, something is there. But what happened is whatever displayed is here totally different from the story behind it. We are able to get the story. But if you show to the computer, what will happen? If I showed this to the computer, means assume that there is some camera, it sees 3 by 3 pixel, 3 by 3, it goes like this. See, if somebody sees in this way, 3 by 3, 3 by 3, like that, they cannot get the global picture. They cannot connect, you cannot see first at all as a Bihar. It is just much like it became like bones and skeleton of the cow. If you open the skin, if you remove skin here, then why is sitting on the cow? Do you think in Bihar they don't have horses? Even if they don't have horses, they can get it from some other state or countries. What is the big deal? That is not the point. The cartoonist intention is to give clarity, clear picture of the entire story. Therefore, just by seeing this, any human being with normal knowledge, they can write the story. They can write the story because we are good at connecting the things. Grass connected to the cow, connected to this one is like appearing like Bihar. Therefore, all those things happen. Human beings are good at linking the things. And we have multi-sensory organs for the human being. But how human beings works is mind works is totally different from how computer mind works. Computer cannot tell the story or even get the meaning of this, what it is of a kind, because it starts looking pixel by pixel, nothing else. Fine. But human beings, see, human perceives cues, edges, and clues, all those things. Fine. Something is there on the screen? Any of you? There are, say, this is one image here, this, right? What is there in this?
I think is a Pakistan person who Mumbai bomb blast.
Sorry?
Faces.
Mumbai bomb blast.
Somebody told faces?
Yeah.
You're
Who
from
is the person who is background of Mumbai bomb blast?
this one? Is there some person inside?
Yes, sir.
How do you say that person is there inside?
Based on the pixels.
What is appearing like person? Here mouth is there?
Yes, mouth, ear, nose, everything we can
And
see.
here ear is there?
Yes, sir.
And here like a nose is there? If this much is, if you can, if somebody can visualize, we never bother about whether he has eyes or not. Even eyes are there, whether he has one eye or two eyes of a kind. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we are able to get see a nice image. Face is there, but I will tell you, when you go near to the screen, you will not find any face. If you be away from the screen, the face appears more better and better. Just all of you just try that. Plus noise first one. You go near to the screen and stare at that. It appears like red, black, blue pixels, right? Yes or no? And you be away from this some 4 feet from the screen. You will observe the face better, right? How many of you agree for this point?
Yes, rightly
Yes, sir,
said.
many of them are agree.
Yeah.
If you are near to the screen, you won't get face appearance, right? Yes or no? And when
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
when you are away from the screen, you feel like face is there. It is better than when you are near. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are from which college, madam?
Sir, I'm from UBDT college, sir. Sir, I'm seeing the chat and everyone is answering, sir.
Okay, see, that's why what happens is, in the class when when the teacher teaches, every student wanted to be in the last bench rather than in the first bench if you tell the story, because if they say if we are away from the our board, then we will understand better, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
See, the way human
Hope that can be be the reason, sir.
That is the that is the reason, right? That's why everybody will say, "We want me to be in the first row. We have listened that Suresh Kansar talk, therefore we will be in the last row of the kind."
Yes.
That is the okay. Coming back to screen. Okay, screen is audible. No.
Screen is visible, sir.
Okay, what is there on the screen? Cartoon.
Image.
Photo scan.
Okay, good. See, what I say is, but say for example, if below, see now, below one has more noise, but still you can make out there is a face, right? Yeah. Therefore, even in the noise, human beings are able to find the face. Okay, now.
The COVID kind of conditions, how it was made, and so on and so forth.
What is there on the screen?
A very interesting Good afternoon, everybody. Sir, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. I would like to check the
Hello?
I request
You tell me, you are able to see my face here?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You tell me whether these faces are same or different, and all these faces are same or different.
It's same. Okay, okay. It's same. Same.
All the faces are same,
Yes.
and all faces belong to the same person.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Who is that person?
You, sir.
See, that face. That these are all my photos, but in all the photos, here appearance is different from here, appearance is different from here, and so on. But if you show it to the computer, makes an error, it may not detect, because it may tell this is different. It may tell these are all same. It may tell this is different, and these three are same based upon some property. What about this? You tell me whether one among these fellows belongs to this or not.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You may tell this fellow does not belongs here because it does not appear there. This person may appear here because long hairs and beards. Therefore, that may be similar to this or this or this of a kind, right? But if I show this and if I show this, computer may fail to recognize. All right. See now there is some similarity between this and this. Computer can see. What about this?
Different, sir.
Is one among these two is there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Definitely not this person. This person is there here. Who is there here? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Can computer detect such things? Human beings are good at doing. They will just see some resemblance. Say, for example, if somebody is going in front of your like chamber or your like office, from that sound what they will get from that walking style sound, it's from that itself we can make out. Say if I say from this itself you can make out who is coughing of a kind. But can computer be that much intelligent? Doubt. Anyway, now these are all, see for example, these are all very simple problems for human beings. This is very simple problem for human being to identify. We need which noise removal algorithm we have used, which edge detection algorithm we have used to detect the face? No. Which algorithm we have used to build the story? No algorithm. Naturally, it came for the human beings. Now, have you seen this background image somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Where?
BDT Davangere.
You are from BDT?
No, sir, I am from Chitraduga, JMIT Engineering College. Ramesh, your student.
Oh my God, that's why you are able to see that. See, when we were final year students, that
Yes,
time
sir.
there used to be something called get together. Now also it will be there. See, I said now I am like this. Now I am like this. Earlier I was like this. Earlier sometimes I was like this. These are all after my BTech. This is during BTech. I'm sure if I give you some time and if I magnify this, definitely you will find my face or my presence at somewhere. Of course, it is here. And now the thing is the following. You are not given single face. There are 32 student face and 5 faculties are there. 37 it is a scene. It has many faces. Entire like human beings are there and background there are trees, all those things. My question is how to identify a face, how to identify a person in a scene. You may ask why this is required. It is required, for example, when you go to the class, there are 100 students. You do not have to take the attendance, simply take one pic or one photo by using your mobile or like whatever, maybe smartphone. Later that say give to the computer, it will identify how many faces are there, and like individual faces it will identify. Then it will put the attendance, because taking attendance for 100 students is a little bit it involves, it takes more time. But assume that you have this very easily. You can make identify number of faces, then face of each person of a kind. By chance, if for example rather than 37, if it says 36 faces are there, because some face is totally backside. Let us say this one, if it mixes up with 2, or if it identifies something one extra, then entire analysis becomes wrong. That's why it is very crucial in some of the cases. If computer does the mistakes, then there will be erroneous result at later stage. But for human beings, these are all very easy tasks. Fine. Now, after telling these are all some of the difficult tasks, the question is, yes, of course, difficult. That's why now always telling is that these some of them are difficult tasks. Therefore, don't use the computer because they will do the mistake as a faker. The intention is wherever possible, can we replace human beings by computers? You may ask why you want to do that. The reason is the following. Due to advancement in technology, cost of the computer is coming down day by day. Size of the computers are coming down day by day. Once upon a time, even for 1 GB, we used to spend about 1,000 rupees. Nowadays, you will get 32 GB, what you call your pen drive. How much cost? 1,000? Yes. Able to hear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah. And so therefore, cost of the computers or size of the computers are coming down. See, I told cost of the computers are coming down. Once upon a time, whatever computers, desktop computer used to be around 3 lakhs. Nowadays, for 30,000 you will get. And once upon a time, a mainframe computer size used to be what? Size of one building. But nowadays, size of the computers is what? Now, what is the size of the computer? nowadays the size of the computer, you cannot imagine. You cannot see the computers itself, but they are computers at the micro level. Time may come, you will be having thousand, you can have one dot on each finger. That itself will be the computer. And that's what will happen in future. Therefore, wherever possible, tendency of the human beings is to replace tasks done by human beings by the computer. For example, then it is necessary to become human-computer interaction. How are we interacting to the computer nowadays? We are interacting to the computer, could be through the keyboard, or through touch screen, or through a mouse, or through a pen drive, or through a vision. But we know that between human beings, two human beings, the most effective way of communication is through speech. Therefore, can we make computer also to understand the human speech and respond to it? That's where making computer to understand human speech comes into picture. Then computer should be intelligent enough to understand what human being is telling through the microphone. So for example, you will ask in your like or mobile, whatever you call, you will say like this. I think what is that? Google. Hey Google, right? Hey Google, or say Apple Siri. What is the possibility of raining today at 5 o'clock? It will say today at 5 o'clock there is a less possibility of raining because no clouds are there on the sky. You will feel so happy. You ask it by using speech. It also told the result back to you in the form of speech. Because if you ask somebody to do something, after doing that, if they tell you in their own words, then you will feel more happy rather than like giving results of it. Therefore, in the examination, all those things you see, and along with executing the program and along with like doing experiments, there will be something called Viva. VIVA, very important vocabulary answers. That answers are more effective than conducting the experiment of it. Therefore, so between human beings, most effective way of communication is through speech. Therefore, I wanted to communicate to the speech also through communicate to the computer also through speech. Then you require something called assistive speech technologies. For Indian scenario like multilingual, then India has more than 1,600 languages are there. And then what is required for making computer to understand your speech? How you are making computer to be intelligent? So your servant is an intelligent human being because he or she will understand what you are telling in one of the language you know and that person know. In the same way, can we make computer also to be intelligent by using all these techniques? All these techniques. That is one of the challenge. Yes, and it may not be possible 100%, but to some extent it is possible. Then by using tools, techniques, and approaches for making computer to understand human speech and respond to it for any of the natural language. I told natural language is difficult to deal with. Therefore, artificial intelligence and machine learning approaches are used to solve these problems. Next, I think biomedical engineering students, this is like they will understand very easy. Brain computer interaction, BCI. I think EEG, electroencephalographs. What that is the following. Your brain is thinking something, brain signals. And brain, sends nerve signals to the various parts of the human brain, parts of the human body. Therefore, whatever like brain activity recording by using transducers or sensors, then they are processed. Then after processing that, it has understood what the human brain is thinking. Based upon that, it is taking the action. This is called brain-computer interaction, as similar to the human-computer interaction. We are communicating to the computer through keyboard or mouse or touch screen or some other thing, whereas brain signal itself are communicating to the computer. It should understand what the human brain is thinking. That involves, for example, signal acquisition from the EEGs, then using signal processing techniques such feature extraction, then pattern recognition. Based upon that, for example, say if you wanted to move somebody's hand to the right side, then for example, whatever may be the reason, if one of the hand is inactive, then brain signal cannot reach to there. Artificially, that hand can be made to move right side, left side by having some things in the middle of it. Therefore, also quite number of times you can a little bit think what is in this person's mind is going on in this person's mind going on. Can computer guess that state of the mood, state of the mind by getting information that is through EEG signal of it. That is called brain-computer interaction. In these cases also, some of these machine learning approaches are useful. Coming to sign languages, these are all the where sign language is useful is, let us say you want to communicate to a person who is both dumb and deaf. That means he cannot hear, he cannot speak. He cannot speak, therefore you don't know what he wanted to say. He cannot hear, therefore he don't know what you are telling. In such cases, through the symbols, signs, people communicate to them. I think Sunday news used to come that based upon only sign language. Sign language is told it is meant for those people to whom you are telling the news, and those people who cannot understand, cannot speak and cannot hear. See, one symbol for afraid is either this or this. But this and this are linked to face, a facial expression. Therefore, either in this or in this case, afraid symbol of it. This below one, what happens is, it is proved psychologically that sign language increases your thinking capability. And sign language improves the thinking capability. In such cases, for example, it can, from the sign language, can make the computer to increase its thinking capability by using artificial intelligence and machine learning approaches. Next, I said in order to communicate with the computers through speech, you require something called speech recognition. And speech recognition means given the speech signal, get this. Why you want to get this is the following. Computer understand only text, it cannot understand speech, cannot understand signal. But you speak through microphone, and if you can get this, then computer process this and it will get the result, and it will tell back you the result again in the form of text, but you want to hear it rather than reading the result from the text. In such cases, you require recognition as well as the synthesis. Can machine learning approaches be used for this recognition and synthesis? Now, another thing, I told emotion recognition. In case of emotion recognition, see, for example, there are different ways of dealing the patients. From the emotion of this patient, one can make out what disease he is, what is the severity of the disease. Therefore, when you ask patients to speak, or when you are getting the emotion of the speaker, then from that one can identify degree of the disease. Can we identify emotion of the speaker? Is a normal speech or abnormal speech? Abnormal speech is called higher result speech, when I see what happens is during normal mood, there is not that much pressure. During abnormal mood of the person is angry or upset or disgust, then there will be a lot of air pressure built below this. When it is built below this, and this vocal fold vibration, it will be like they will not vibrate properly. Therefore, they will vibrate less. In that case, normal speech is different from the high arousal speech. Can machine learning approaches can identify whether it is a normal speech or high arousal speech, because that is very much required for identifying emotion of the speaker. And why you want multilingual like speech to speech translation is that, let us say I speak in one language, whatever I am telling that should go and reach to the destination speaker in another language. For example, I will say, good evening, you should hear Namaskar. So if I say good afternoon, you should hear Namaskar. Let us say in my computer through the microphone I will say good afternoon, and from the sound box of your computer you should be able to hear Namaskar. This is called multilingual speech-to-speech translation. Why that is required is the following. Why it is required, I will come to that later. But how difficult is it? So difficult. In such cases, can we use machine learning and AI-based approaches? Where such things are used, for example, let us say Japan Prime Minister comes to India. Our Indian Prime Minister speaks in Hindi. He cannot speak in Japanese language. There is a translator, human translator. That person listens to Modi voice and convert and speaks in Japan. And that Japanese Prime Minister listens that in Japan and he will give back answer in Japan. And the translator listens in Japan and speaks back to Indian Prime Minister in Hindi. If I replace that translator by what you call computer, multilingual speech-to-speech translation, it's an app, then what happens is it will be so fast and natural. Otherwise, this human being acting as a translator, listening to Modi's speech and converting and telling to the Japanese Prime Minister, listening to Japan speech of Japan Prime Minister in Japan language and understanding it, getting back to the Hindi, speaking Hindi to the Modi, it takes some time. Rather than that, if there is a system or app or whatever software which can translate one speech in one language to speech in another language, then things will be easier. Fine. And you know what is the population of India? Indian population? Hello? Population of India. Any of you are hearing? Yes?
Yes, sir. 130 crore.
130 crore. And number of smartphones?
Around 300 crores.
300
billion.
Yeah, 130 crores population, 390 crores smartphones. Why so? Because using one mobile, it is to parents. One mobile for official communication. Another mobile very nearer and dearers. Not necessarily you should have 3 mobiles, at least 2 to 3 SIMs. At least I think all mobiles have the provision of 2 SIMs. Why it is so popular? It is so popular because your smartphone does many things. One thing is you can speak to anybody at any time, at anywhere. Another thing is it acts as a torch. And it acts as a computer. You can search something, Google, you can check email, you can speak to somebody. Therefore, in future, everything will happen only mobile. And I said, world is very small. you people, we are interested in communicating to anybody in a language, into the anybody who speaks in another language. Not necessarily you should know Chinese language, not necessarily if you know Hindi, speak in Hindi, this person will understand in Chinese here, whatever you are telling. And here it appears as if you are speaking. That is called, in such cases, what is normal one language to another language translation is speak in one language, get text in another language, text of that language to text in another second language, convert it into text speech in target language. But what happens is, when you are hearing the speech in target language, it will be in one of the celebrity speech as a single person. Say, I speak, here it appears like Amitabh Bachchan speech. Or you speak, you appear like Amitabh Bachchan is speaking effect. When I speak, here whatever the person is hearing, say in Chinese language, I am speaking in Hindi language, here it should appear in Chinese language, but as if I have spoken. This is what is required is here you require something called prosody extraction, that is speaker and his like speaker characteristics you have to embed in the text. You will get enriched text that is embedded in the text in second language to get the enriched speech in second language effect. Propose that is in future one of the biggest challenge is development of multilingual speech-to-speech translation system for mobile platform, smartphones that can ease communication effectively. See, when you need not have to go to hospital, you are speaking through the mobile to the doctor. Doctor from your speech and from these things, he will like you speak in one language, he will understand in his own language, and he will give the prescriptions are required like medical like suggestions in his own language, he will understand in your language. Most of the things happens. That's why mobile smartphone became so popular. An average 3, it will become at least 5 in future. Therefore, in such cases, AI ML approaches are very much useful to make such things to realize effect. Now, these are all the problems and tasks. What are the recent trends in AI and ML effect? AI and ML साढ़े 4 बजे बोले sure. See now, I told so many problems, so many like requirements, and now what are all the approaches? I am sure, see, most of you have studied these things. These are all the things, because it is not new, good old 1960s started, and these are also, see, it so happened that nowadays, now these machine learning AI became very, very like hot topic of a kind, but these are all algorithms are there. Frankly speaking, all these things, say for example, this 1990 book is there. This we are all studied all these things 20 years back. But why now those are all picked up is there are, I said there are some, see one thing is abundant, that is size and cost of the computers. Another thing is programs, techniques, approaches are easily available. Nowadays, you do not have to bother about computing power. Clouds are there. Free of cost, they will give you, they will create the account and you can do the thing. You do not have to write the program of it. All right. What are all the recent trends? There are something called hidden Markov models, multi-fit for neural network model, DNNs, autoencoders, RNN, CNN, GAN, reinforcement learning, all these things. I think some of our previous speakers have spoken about these, and they might have taken the words, at least some of these, if not all, but I will tell in my own way. Like all these things previously used to use for classification models, hidden Markov model, multi-layer fit for Markov, support vector machine. These are all the classical and good old methods. In case of hidden Markov models, what happens is you have the state and transition, probability of transition from state to another state. It will be obtained from the data. And the biggest limitation of this hidden Markov model approach is that your data is expected to be like Gaussian. Why this constraint? If the data is of Gaussian type, you can apply this Gaussian formula. What is this Gaussian formula? Say probability of X belongs to a class given by 1 by square root of sigma 2 pi square root of 2 pi e to the power of x minus e to the power of x minus mu whole square by 2 sigma square. Here, from the data itself, if you find the mean and standard deviation and mean and standard deviation with respect to each say mixture, then it can be trained, and finally you can use these models for prediction, time series prediction. This is one of the approach, and advantage of this is this method is rich in mathematics. Formula is there. Disadvantage is it assumes the Gaussian distribution. Since it assumes the Gaussian distribution, your formula is based upon mu and sigma square. And mu is first order statistics, sigma is second order statistics, but data has higher order statistics, not necessarily first and second. Therefore, this approach necessarily limits the performance. Then people arrived at something called soft computing approach, and these approaches are like an innovative approach which is used for building the intelligent systems. And intelligent systems are like human beings are intelligent, therefore they behave like human beings behavior in various environment where we expected to take them to take the clever decision. And again our question comes back, is that computer be intelligence? And I told what is meant by intelligence, all these things, creativity, emotion, intuition and consciousness. Since human beings are intelligent because we have brain, and based upon this brain technology are say neural neurons, human brain has neurons, several neurons are connected, interconnected, several layers are there. Initially people use something called multi-layer feed for our neural networks. Multi-layer, they used to use only 2 hidden layer, 1 input layer and 1 output layer. The popular algorithm for training this is backpropagation, and you have something called activation function. People used to use sigmoid and like what you call hyperbolic tan function. We have now Aralim, then ReLU. There are so many different what you call activation functions are there. Learning methods are also, we have batch learning, then we have stochastic gradient learning and so on. Since this has, just like this has some limitation because it assumes second order statistics and large amount of data is required to train the models. Same here also you require large amount of data to train the models, and like how many layers, what are the number of units in each layer, all those things has limitation. Then people move something called support vector machines. Support vector machines works is here decision surface is a line, and if the data is not linearly separable, then they transform them into high dimensional space. There we construct the hyperplane. It is nothing but decision boundary. This is about, and since they are done in the optimal hyperplane is constructed in the high dimensional space, therefore it's computationally intensive. Where people then moved in forward something towards rather than 4 layers, can we have many layers of it? That's where deep networks comes into picture. Deep neural network, when number of layers or more, it is just still it is used using it is trained using backpropagation. Only thing is there are some difficulties with respect to multi-layer feed for a neural net. More layers using backpropagation is that if the gradient or derivative of the error is propagated back, if the number of layers are more and derivative is small, here it will become small, almost become 0 of a kind. That is called vanishing gradient. And if the gradient is more here itself, then it explodes. That is called growing gradient. To deal with such things, what is to be done? There are so many sophisticated approaches came. How to deal with vanishing gradient, like exploding gradient. Those are all. There are something called regularization. All those things. Multi-layer feed for a network and deep neural network. There is, but still multi-layer feed for a neural network and deep neural network model. There is they deal with the independent frames. There is no mechanism of capturing the knowledge of successive various frames knowledge, that is time information, time prediction, sequence knowledge has not been utilized or not possible to incorporate in case of multi-layer feed-forward neural network. But here there is something called recurrent neural network. There, this layer acts as a long short-time memory, LSTM. And like in addition to normal feed-forward, you have something called knowledge. Like it predicts the, provides well in this thing for like capturing the sequence information. In speech, for example, you can utilize it for like capturing acoustically guided contextual information. That's why this became recurrent neural network became very popular, where in case of sequence to sequence knowledge. Other kind of this is the say in case of speech synthesis we require sequence knowledge. Therefore, say h of t is given by something into h of t minus 1. H of t minus 1 is given by something h of t minus 2. Therefore, sequence knowledge is used, and this is the normal backpropagation. If we implicitly network can capture the sequence knowledge, then things will be better. That's why recurrent neural network became popular in speech synthesis, and they are became popular in case of time prediction, time series and analysis, stock market prediction, of those things. We have another kind of network called convolution neural network. See, in case of pattern recognition or any take medical image processing or any other thing, what kind of features we are extracting? What kind of features are useful? Mean, standard deviation, or some zero crossing points, all those things we use. Sometimes it becomes difficult for us to what kind of feature can I get Fourier transform feature, these are useful, or can we use DCTs, or can we use some other features. Feature representation from the signal itself is a problem. Therefore, in case of convolutional neural network, there initially some network that max pooling and like a convolution layer, max pooling layer, when you give the raw data, these layers itself extract the required features which is useful for a particular task. Then after the features are extracted from the raw data, they usually, here is a fully connection network, it's as usual for maybe classification, regression, all those things. In case of CNN, convolution neural network, some crude features are extracted and those used, and initial layer extract the sophisticated features used for a particular task. That is the current trend of the feature extraction using convolution neural network. There is something called GAN. GAN is nothing but generative and adversarial network. What happens is the following. Sometimes it is difficult to get the data. Therefore, especially in medical image processing or some other hospital related patients, you have to wait years together to get a second patient which has similar symptom with respect to the first patient effect. Here in generative and adversarial network, what happens is here is a generator, here is a discriminator, and here I have the real samples. Now this discriminator, say, assume that something is coming from here. Say, assume that he wanted to, this network want to fool this. Then this is the real data. From this real data, he has to discriminate whether it is coming from real data or it is coming from a fooler effect. Then what happens is, based upon how this fellow is taking the decision, this man gets the feedback. Therefore, he tried to generate the data which is almost real. Then which is almost real, whether this man is able to discriminate the real data and almost real data or not of a kind. And if this person can fool this, then he will become intelligent. Oh, this fellow has fooled, let me become intelligent of a kind. Again, he tried to generate almost real data. Therefore, this kind of neural networks are useful for generating synthetic data. Then we have something called finally reinforcement learning. What exactly happens is the following. Let us say I have an agent. I am an agent, and there is an environment. I will throw some action. This environment will, if the action is correct, it will reward me. If action is not correct, it will punish me. Whether I got a reward or punishment, based upon that, I will be taking my next clever action. Therefore, agent is going to become intelligent and intelligent learning from the environment. This is called reinforcement learning or learning from critic. And this is also a kind of learning in addition to CNN, RNN, DNN, all those things affect. And there is no hard and fast rule that this learning is useful for universally this can be used for this kind of task effect. And the researcher who are working in the particular type of environment, they should be able to come up, or they should be able to use all these learning algorithms as a variant of that, which are also suits for a particular task effect. This is all about various networks and current trend in the what you call artificial intelligence and machine learning. To be frank, machine learning and this what you call deep learning. Deep learning is in the direction of multi-layer feed-forward network, 4-layer, 6-layer. It is in that way it is moving up. And machine learning, say artificial intelligence, is at the bigger level. In that we have machine learning, and in case of machine learning, we have deep networks, you have convolution networks, all those things. Therefore, networks comes under machine learning. Machine learning comes under artificial intelligence, making the machine to be like human beings. And which learning, which approach to follow with this one? Sometimes feature itself can be extracted from the networks. Sometimes features are maybe handcrafted features, and that time decision can be taken by using neural networks, all those things. I think I can stop. Any of you have any questions, we can answer. Sir?
Yes, sir. Sir? Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, here one question from one participant. She has asked, I am from CSE and taken up a data analysis in healthcare as research area. Can you please suggest some data analysis technique and areas to explore in this regard?
See, what happens is the following. Any engineer should not worry about any of these approaches, any of data, all those things. Our aim should be how to propose new algorithm itself. Because say for example data analytics, there itself there are courses. Also for example even machine learning, all the approaches comes under data analytics. Data analytics is a new word that is coined to deal with the data, and to some extent it is called big data analytics. That's what is one has to be done. You're keeping... Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That was the only question, sir. And lot of appreciation is coming, sir. Everyone is telling good presentation, nice session, everything, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. It's a really a very informative session, sir. So tomorrow we have again your session at 3 to 4, sir. The afternoon.
I think tomorrow I will again do some thought process so that we can discuss some specific applications of this. I worked a little bit in face recognition, texture classification, then person identification. I will just discuss some of those things tomorrow. I will talk to you, sir. Huh?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Then we'll meet tomorrow once again, sir.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure, sure.
So, dear participant, we will meet tomorrow by 9:30. So, please log in within 15 minutes earlier. Have a nice evening. Thank you, one and all.